you know, when you think something in your head and you think, fuck me, man, if somebody found out that I thought that, they'd string me up, man, in the way that I want to string myself. They'd hate me in the way that I hate myself. So, like, all of that goes on in your head, right? Um, and then you have this crash. And then, like, you know, in those crashes, you just feel alone, man. I was on the train was late, and you just sat on the train, and you're like, it's hard sometimes, isn't it? When you feel lonely, you're like, I'm so glad I'm on my own in that moment, but I fucking could do with having people around me right now. But then you don't want them around you. And listen, I think one of the big learnings from that, and one of the big learnings that I've had over the time of my own journey and sort of healing in this way, is that that's normal, man. I don't know if it's normal. But in my life, it's to be expected, and I can live with it and I can work with it, and it's okay. And it goes like, you know, today I feel good, man. And that might come as a surprise, the fact that I've sort of been crying a little bit for the last 20 minutes. But I think, you know, I'm very comfortable with emotional release now, you know. I like it. I like it when it comes and you just let it happen. Let it flow, man. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to get so impassioned. Is that a word? Impassioned. To get so passionate about that in the community space. But like next year, we're really going to go for it, man. We're going to bring these, we're going to take them on the road, and we're going to travel with them. And I really feel like 2025 is going to be a big year. I was going to talk about the fact that when this podcast goes out, I'm recording again on a Friday morning. It goes out on YouTube on Monday, and then everywhere else on Tuesday morning. But it'll be December then. And so I know that December can be a tricky time when you have a tricky family. I think it can be a tricky time if you've got a fucking good family, to be honest with you. It's hard, man, like to, you know, to bring all that up. So I was going to talk a bit about it today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it next week. Actually, I think I'm going to really talk about some of the dynamics that we find, some of the dynamics, you know, from when you go back, if you go back at Christmas to your childhood home, often you will unconsciously, subconsciously go back into a bit of a childlike state, and that can be a little bit jarring if you've done a bit of work on yourself, and it can make you think, fucking hell, I ain't done any work on myself, look what's happened to me. But that's not true, right? You've got the level of awareness, and so Christmas brings a lot of that, and I think there needs to be some understanding around that. We're going to do a lot of stuff in breathing space, actually, to try and support one another in that way. So if Christmas is difficult for you, yeah, we're going to do lots of stuff around that. I'll make that next week on the podcast. And yeah, we'll talk about the dynamics and everything that comes with that. But for today, I feel like I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. Yeah, like I said to you, and I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. And what I'm doing now, this is a part of me now that feels like I've not done good enough today in this podcast. Interesting, isn't it? Right? There's a part of me that says I've felt like I'm not done good enough. So now I'm going to explain to you why it's not been good enough, so that you can understand and still like me, even though the podcast hasn't been very good today.